It's so frustrating, but we got some good news. Why is good news frustrating? Well, because the Department of Justice doesn't seem to know if it's coming or going when it comes to the Second Amendment. Like I said, today's good news. And the Assistant Attorney General, Harmeet Dillon, the one I told you about last week, who actually testified for the Second Amendment against gun control, against an assault weapon ban, she is at it again. Big news out of California, and for once it's actually in favor of gun owners in California. The U.S. Department of Justice just filed its own lawsuit, its very first lawsuit to defend the Second Amendment, and it's aimed squarely at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. It's historic. So let's break it down, exactly what it means, why it matters, and what could come next for your gun rights. Welcome back to the channel, my friends. This is Guns and Gadgets, where I bring you the news that the mainstream media does not want you to hear. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you don't miss any of these critical updates about the Second Amendment. On today's date, September 30th, 2025, the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division, led by Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, filed a federal lawsuit against the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, known as the LASD, and Sheriff Robert Luna in his official capacity. The case is U.S. versus Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, filed in the Central District of California. And here's why this is a big deal. The federal government is accusing the Sheriff's Department of systematically denying thousands of Californians their right to keep and bear arms, not through outright refusals, but by deliberately dragging their feet so long that people effectively lose their rights. A right delayed is a right denied. Now let's talk numbers, because this is staggering. Between January of 2024 and March of 2025, not that long, LASD received 3,982 new concealed carry applications. Do you know how many they approved? 2. Yeah, a 0.05% approval rate. 2 out of nearly 4,000. Now, the delays were outrageous. Applicants were forced to wait an average of 281 days, over 9 months, just to start the process. The median delay was even worse. 9 months to start the process, then 372 days following that. Crazy. Some applicants waited as long as 1,030 days. That's almost 3 years before their file even moved forward. Sheriff, you're an ass clown. By May 2025, about 2,768 new applications were still sitting in limbo, with some interviews scheduled as late as November of 2026. Think about that. People apply in good faith, follow all the rules, and then get told, we'll talk to you in a year or two. Hope these thugs that we love on the street don't try to kill you before then. That's not a delay, that's a denial through bureaucracy. And here's the tragic part. Many applicants simply gave up. They withdrew their applications because the system was so broken. Thousands of law-abiding citizens were effectively stripped of their ability to defend themselves outside of their homes. Remember, this isn't just red tape. It's real people being left defenseless in Los Angeles, where crime is rampant. And the Department of Justice is finally saying enough is enough. Let's bring in some legal context here. In 2022, the Supreme Court's New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen decision made it crystal clear. The Second and the 14th Amendments protected an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. Doesn't get any clearer than that. But instead of following the law, Sheriff Luna and his department built what the DOJ calls an administrative labyrinth, a system designed to stall until people gave up. The DOJ flat out says this is not inefficiency, but a coordinated effort to nullify rights through obstruction. And that's why the DOJ is suing the Sheriff's Department. The DOJ is bringing this lawsuit under the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, specifically, for the book nerds out there. It's 34 U.S.C. section 12601, and that gives the federal government the power to step in when law enforcement agencies have a pattern or a practice of violating constitutional rights. There have been police departments that have been federal or taken over and restructured using that same law. Now, make no mistake, this is exactly what's happening here. California The law itself requires sheriffs to issue initial determinations within 90 days. Required. Not 90 years, 90 days. And the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department ignored the state law, ignored the Bruen decision, and ignored the U.S. Constitution. And ignored, I'll add this too, ignored his own oath of office, scumbag. So what is the DOJ asking the court to do? Well, the complaint lays it out pretty clearly. Number one, declare that the Sheriff's Department's delays and denials violate the Second Amendment. That should be that simple. Number two, permanently block the Sheriff's Department from implementing concealed carry license. Three, force the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to comply with the Constitution, state law, and federal law so that law-abiding gun owners in Los Angeles can actually get a fair process instead of waiting years. Now, I know some folks will say, that's just California. But don't miss the bigger picture here. If this lawsuit succeeds, it will set a precedent that the other jurisdictions cannot drag their feet to block gun rights. Think about New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and all the other states that have tried to slow walk permits after Bruen. If the federal government wins here, those states could be next. Now, that's why I chose this case as one to watch very closely. It could shift the balance in favor of gun owners across the country. Now let me give you my perspective. It's encouraging, shocking even, that the DOJ, under this administration, is taking this step. Why, Jared? Because Trump. Well, this has nothing to do with Trump, but because of Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi has been doing the exact opposite of what Harmeet Dillon's been doing. In fact, I'm going to tell you more about Pam Bondi supporting gun control tomorrow. But today, we'll stick with the good news. But I'll also say this. Don't be fooled into thinking that the government has suddenly turned pro-Second Amendment. This lawsuit is the bare minimum, an acknowledgement that delays were so egregious that they couldn't be ignored. Now, gun owners cannot relax. We need to keep the pressure on, keep exposing these abuses, and keep demanding accountability. Because the anti-gun politicians and the bureaucrats will always look for new ways to erode our rights. They'll shift from outright bans to backdoor denials, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. This lawsuit is a rare and important win for the Second Amendment, but it's just the beginning. If the DOJ is serious, they need to follow through and make sure other states don't pull the same tricks, because they are. So stay tuned, because I'll keep you updated every step of the way as this case develops. And let me know in the comments, do you think this lawsuit will actually change anything in California, or is it just political theater? If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it so that more people know what's happening. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button here on Guns and Gadgets so that you don't miss the rights that are affected by this crap. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, stay armed, and stay free. Take care.